Greetings, my friends. Please consider supporting me in my war to save pop culture by subscribing to my channel and possibly even becoming a channel member for exclusive videos, access to Doomcock emojis, and more. And if you like this video in particular, please consider using the new Super Thanks feature and putting a tip in the tip jar located next to the like buttons down at the bottom of the video. Thank you for watching, and now, on to the video. My friends, today I bring you a shocking first-hand account of an episode of blatant racism that reportedly occurred inside Disneyland about a week ago. This story came directly to me by way of a longtime viewer and friend about an incident that allegedly took place on the 29th of June 2022 involving family friends of this individual. These people who experienced this discrimination on the part of Disney staff are, I am told, considering filing a lawsuit against Disney for this alleged incident, and at the very least, these people will never purchase any Disney products or attend any Disney parks or resorts in the future. They were that offended, and frankly, when I read what I'm about to share with you, I was shocked and appalled. I could not believe what I was hearing, and so I followed up with the source, got some more details, and at this point I'm ready to share what I was told with you, more or less verbatim, with the caveat that I was not there. I did not witness this incident, and therefore all I can attest is that this is the information I received. I have no reason to believe this is not true. In fact, given the source, I'm inclined to give it credence. But since I was not there, I must ask you to take this with a grain of salt. That said, if what I'm about to tell you is true, as I suspect it is, it points to a culture inside Disney that allows nastiness and racism like this to happen to guests, from woke staff members puffed up with a sense of righteous entitlement. Here's what I was sent. A well-written report that I'm going to read to you almost verbatim, except for changing the names and editing the content for length and clarity. And stay tuned till the end of this video because I followed up after the initial report and got more information. And I'm going to share this information chronologically, so if you tune out early, you won't get the whole story. Here's what I was told, quote, I wanted to relay to you what my good friend, who gave me her blessing for me to do so, told me about their visit to Disneyland last week. She and her husband, Pat, took their daughter to Disneyland for an early birthday present. Katie will be 9 later on this month. They joined Pat there in California for a week, as he has been there on business for a bit. They were at Disney last Wednesday, the 29th of June, 2022. Everything was fine until they came to some of the major venues. According to my friend Lisa, the staff was segregating the patrons according to race. If you were Latino or Black, you received preferential treatment and were ushered to the head of the line. If you were white or Asian, you were just expected to broil out in the hot sun. Pat spoke to a Disney supervisor, a Black female, about this, and he was basically told that he was, quote, an oppressor and just to, quote, suck it up, unquote. That is their policy, and they are bringing about equity. He then asked the individual if she actually knew what equity was, and he promptly had security called on him. He was told to, quote, stop creating a disturbance or he will be escorted off the property, unquote. I have known Pat for a number of years, and he is typically very quiet and reserved. Even Lisa said that Pat was having a normal conversation with the Disney staffer. Not to spoil the day for their daughter, they carried on. I guarantee you that they will never be back to purchase any Disney products. In fact, Lisa and Pat are contemplating filing a lawsuit against Disney. In full disclosure, they spoke to an upper-level manager at the park on the phone, and she apologized profusely for what happened. Neither Lisa, nor Pat, nor I believe this apology to have been sincere, claiming that such behavior was certainly not their policy, and she will look into it. I find it very hard to believe that in a tightly scripted organization such as Disney, upper park management was not aware of the activities of lower-level supervisors over several venues. I wanted to bring this to your attention. I have always tried to distance Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy from the actions of Disney, but it is becoming increasingly difficult for me to do so. Those three are beloved reminders of my childhood, and I want to remember them in that unencumbered manner." Unquote. That was the initial message I received from this source. I had many questions, and I followed up asking for more details. Specifically, I wanted to know how the other patrons in line reacted to this. I asked, quote, "Here's the thing. I cannot believe that anyone would stand for that. That's what blows my mind. If I were there and I saw that, I would have lost my shit. I hate waiting in line, waiting in the heat. And so if I ever saw anyone cutting in line in front of me, I don't give a damn if it's the President of the United States, Emperor of fucking China, anyone but Jesus Christ himself. If they're cutting in line, I want to know why, and it better be a damn good answer as to why my dumbass is baking in the sun while people are strolling up ahead of me. So the only thing it's hard to imagine is why there wasn't a riot of the people getting shafted." The next day, I received this reply and further explanation of the incident. Quote, "I had talked to Lisa and Katie on the phone Saturday morning. Lisa called and left me a voicemail on Friday mentioning that they had an unpleasant experience at Disneyland. Lisa gave the phone to little Katie because she was impatient. She immediately told me about the rude lady and how the police came and nearly took her daddy away. I was completely shocked when I heard this. I had thought there was an issue with some unruly guest or a horrible meal. I never expected what Lisa told me. She said that they arrived at the park right after they opened in the morning, shortly after 8 a.m., that they were at the Dumbo ride shortly thereafter, and there were probably 50 or so people in a gaggle waiting for the ride. That the ride was just being opened, somewhat late, as they had to do some maintenance on it. She said that after a little bit, Disney employees came up to put up these stanchions to guide people. She noticed that while some were putting up these cones, two others were primarily talking to the relatively few Black and Latino guests and asking them to move forward, while basically ignoring the others. Once they had moved, it was very obvious that this was happening. As she said, everyone was like in this gaggle without order. The stanchions went up, and probably 75% or more of the non-white, non-Asian guests were now at the head of the line. She then told me that some of the Asian guests were not looking very happy and started loudly speaking amongst themselves. She thinks that they were speaking Korean, but it might have been Japanese. Many of them, not just the Asian guests, children and all, just turned and left. It is at this time Pat asked for the supervisor. Lisa said that this younger Black lady in her mid to late 20s came over and almost immediately rolled her eyes when she saw that her husband wanted to talk with her. I know Pat fairly well, and certainly well enough to know that he probably ignored her rude behavior. I also know that he is typically very much in control of his emotions and very rarely gets loud, especially with women. I guess that might be because he is pretty intimidating due to his height. He's a typical Texan, that good German stock. Lisa said the next thing she knew, two Disney security guys came rushing over. Pat had not been loud with the Disney supervisor or rude in any way. He just wanted to know why some of the guests were given preferential treatment. He was told by the security that if he causes any more issues, that he would be escorted out of the park and basically banned from returning. The park supervisor just walked away in a huff right after security arrived, after she had told him that she is just doing her, quote, part to help, unquote. Not to spoil the day for Katie, they just left the Dumbo ride and went elsewhere. Later on, Pat spoke to one of the park managers on the phone from their hotel room, thankfully not in the Disney park, and she apologized profusely for what happened. Lisa said that the vast majority of the Disney employees were super nice and very friendly. She also said that several of the workers at the Dumbo ride, along with those putting up the stanchions, looked pretty shocked themselves. Perhaps it is just because someone dared to call out the supervisor. That is just my speculation. They went to look at some of the other attractions in the park and had a fairly decent time, but the earlier incident soured the mood substantially. I am 100% certain that this incident occurred. I do know Lisa very well and trust in what she says. Perhaps this was an isolated incident, but I am not so sure. She also said that many Disney staff, those not in a character costume, had rainbow flag pins and other things on their uniforms. Disney had always been a stickler for uniformity, and I had always been under the impression that they frown on such behavior. She also said that she used one of the ladies' rooms, and on the back of the stall door was a rainbow flag sticker. That too, I find shocking at Disney. Lisa and Pat are not taking it laying down either. They're going to vote with their wallet and purse. As far as Disney's concerned, my purse stays firmly shut, unquote. And there you have it, my friends, the account provided to you just as it was provided to me. Racism is an ugly thing, no matter what form it takes or who is the target. From this account, it seems possible that this incident was not widespread park policy, since according to this account, most of the park personnel were polite and friendly, and this did not happen on other rides, at least not that I was told. I think rather this was a particularly woke Disney park employee or group of employees who felt empowered to discriminate against guests on the basis of their race due to the overwhelming self-righteous wokeness that has been fostered within the Disney company. I was appalled by this account, and it just goes to show you that Bob Chapek has a hell of a lot of firing to do if he's gonna put Disney back on the right track. From the center of the earth, this is Dichter Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha